This week I learned that what we booktubers do, myself included, is apparently we're just parasites and we pick one fandom, we eat it all up, and then we move on to the next one. Hey, what's up, bookworms? Mike back with another weekly update as we are continuing to roll through the month of January here of 2022. Things are just going swimmingly. I mean, it's we got freezing temperatures and stuff, and in Houston, that's a big deal because last year this happened, good things did not follow. But hey, we're going to try to remain positive here. But a very, very crazy week, and we're going to talk about it like usual, and we're going to begin with what am I reading, guys? I got about 30 pages here of God's Grave. This is book 2 in the Nevernight trilogy by Jay Kristoff. And the reason I stopped right here is because apparently this book has a real, like, kiss my ass kind of ending, in that it's just like a humongous cliffhanger. Well, thankfully, I don't have to wait. I've got the next book on deck ready to go right after it. But I said I don't want to be up until midnight and stuff because I do got to work. But so I said I was going to stop right there, finish that up, sometime tomorrow. That way, if I just have to pick up Dark Dawn immediately, that is what I'll do. But kind of what I said last week. No sophomore slump here. This has continued to be very good, and it's very much feels very different than the first book in a good way. In that it isn't just going to be 3 books of the same thing. The setting is different. There's new characters, and it's one of those kind of things where at first you're like, oh well, where are all the characters that I love from the last book? It doesn't matter, because about halfway through this book you realize you love these new characters as much as you ended up growing to love those. And I'll have to say that I got to give Kristoff props for all these secondary characters in this. He finds a way to give each of them their moment, and you're getting a lot of backstory on some of these characters, which makes you give a damn about them. So I'm beginning to think this is going to be one of my favorite authors here, because this is going to be the third book that I'm giving 2 giant enthusiastic thumbs up on, and I can't wait to finish this trilogy here before the end of January. What else? I did finish Justice of Kings. That is the upcoming book from Richard Swan. This is going to be his debut novel with Orbit. Very good, guys. I think this guy's going to be an up-and-comer for a while here, because I think he's really onto a good idea with Justice of Kings. I'll be talking more in depth about it when we get closer to the release date. I think it's February 22nd, and I'll be doing my review then. But it's very, very cool, guys. It's just, I can't think of another fantasy that's like this one. I know a lot of people are saying it reminds them a lot of Witcher. I don't know, man. I'm getting a little bit of Dune mixed in with I can't do this, guys. It's just there is one specific thing with the use of a voice that really makes me think of Dune at times, but I really can't compare it to anything else. It's very, very unique, and with a lot of modern fantasy just being 14th century Europe, it's nice when you get a new idea in something, and I love the way that it's done in this book. That it's a very light magic, but the way that it's done is very, very good, very memorable. And it's really some stuff that I've liked from other modern fantasy authors. I feel like he's doing it better. So I'll make all those comparisons when I actually do review it, but I'm trying not to do it's blank meets blank, because I really don't have one. I think this is pretty original in its own behalf. So I'm just going to say, guys, I think you can go ahead and pre-order with confidence. I think you're going to like what you find here. Let's talk about what I'm going to read. Like I said, I'm going to finish up God's Grave there, and then I'll immediately dive into Dark Dawn. And these books read really quick, guys. I think if you want to knock all 3 of these out in a month like I have, it's not going to be a problem for you. Really, really quick reads. And I think that, again, what else can I say that I haven't already said? I think Kristoff is awesome, and I think these books right here, even more so than Empire of the Vampire, have been very poorly represented by the booktube community. I know that there are some bigger booktubers than me that are not fans, and they're allowed to not be fans, but I mean, there's a lot of people who are telling me why they don't want to read it, and all they're doing is repeating those things that they heard in those videos. And I feel like that's the same thing that happened with Lycanius, and I feel like that buried a really good underrated series. And this has a huge fandom, so I don't think that's happening, but I think there's a lot of people who think, someone like myself, a 40s male isn't going to enjoy this. Guys, it's awesome. This is probably one of the best female protagonists I've ever read. Mia Corveri is awesome. I love her to death. So, yeah, guys, check it out. I can't wait to continue with that. After that, guys, I did get my advanced reader copy of the new Sun Eater book by Mr. Rocchio, this Kingdoms of Death. I did get that today. And as much as I was tempted to be like, well, let's go ahead and check out the first chapter, right? So now I want to finish up this Nevernight trilogy, and then guys, in February 1st, we're going to be starting this, and this is priority because this is a read along for the channel. So that's not going to happen. And then I've got the next Malazan book, which is Toll the Hounds after that. So I was like, if I start that now, I'm going to end up pushing Malazan off until like the very end of the 2-month portion that we give for that read along. So yeah, I'm still a little handcuffed by some read alongs, but that's okay. Now we're coming towards the end of that. But Mr. Rocchio's book doesn't come out until March 22nd. Originally, I had told some people, or is it March 6th? I don't know. It comes out in March. I don't know why they keep thinking the 22nd. I think it's because a lot of these fantasy books come out February 22nd. Maybe. Who knows? Lots of dates floating around up there. But I obviously I'm very excited to start that. But I wanted to read with some other people that I know on the Discord that are real big into the series. But then they all applied for the advanced reader copy, and I was like, well, I don't want to be the only one not doing it. But apparently, their DAW Books is being a little more picky with that, and I was one of the lucky ones. So thank you, DAW Publishing, for sending this, and Christopher, thank you for probably putting in a good word for me. I do appreciate it. I can't wait to start, my man. But yeah, I'm excited about this too, guys, because that first book was banging, and I expect more of the same with Stone of Farewell. Let's go ahead and talk about this week on the channel. Had some interesting things. I kicked off the week by talking about this tag that Andrew over at Andrew's Widgerly Reads did for me. This was a Stephen King tag, which I explained in the video, but I don't know how many people actually click on these videos because they think, well, I don't read Stephen King, so I don't know if the thing was, it was a Stephen King theme, but it wasn't really just Stephen King books. Now, obviously, being a constant reader, some Stephen King books came up. But if you're not really into Stephen King, I don't think you need to know anything really about that to enjoy that video. If you're into the tag thing, I know some people love, some people hate them. I think they're fun. I just try not to do too many of them, just because I think that's it's definitely not lazy. I don't like to use that word. It's just with me, guys, like I said, I have more ideas than I do time. So yeah, if I have some time to throw some of those in, like I gotten behind, I wasn't able to do that Malazan review. So that's why I went ahead and did a couple of those that I owed to those other content creators, and I like to keep those promises. We did our me and Madison. We had our finale of As the Wheel Turns. This was just going to be talking about Season 1 of Wheel of Time on Amazon Prime as a whole. And we invited the two awesome gentlemen, Ezra and Matt, over at Heroes of the Horn. And we had a nice roundtable conversation. I thought we had talked about 45 minutes. It turned out we took almost 2 hours. And it was just a fun conversation. Those are awesome guys. Check out their channel if you haven't, because they're really go a lot deeper into Wheel of Time than Madison and I do, and I think that's obviously a lot of fun. They also do Star Wars stuff. They also do they used to do Song of Ice and Fire stuff. So very awesome guys, and I hope to work with them again because I think that they were so awesome. I think after we ended that recording, me and those guys and Madison, we all four of us talked for another half hour about everything except Wheel of Time. So awesome guys. Who knows? Maybe we'll have a big talk about nothing roundtable one day. That could be pretty fun. And then the I guess you say if there was a headliner this week, it was the most aggressive fandoms. And I did put in the beginning of that video saying, like, I want people to understand this isn't a broad generalization. This isn't saying that these fandoms are all negative, anything like that. It was just saying that some fandoms can get very passionate, and these are the ones who have really been, vocal towards me since I have been doing this. Now, of course, nobody listened to that. And look, I'm not going to pretend, guys. I'm not going to be the kind of person who, throws a shit bomb over the wall and then gets mad when people start flinging the shit back at me. It was one of those things that was never meant to be. In fact, I had a lot of people actually upset saying they wish I was more aggressive. That I wasn't just, you're going to talk about aggressive fandoms and then you did it in a polite way. You weren't aggressive back. I'm not the rant guy. I don't really do that. I appreciate any viewer on this channel, even if they disagree with me. I think it's great if you're taking the time out of your life to watch something that I produce. I think that's awesome. It's very generous of you for your time. That's the best thing that a content creator can ask for is your time. So I'm not going to pretend that I wasn't getting any negative feedback on a video like that. So when I talk about that one, like where it's called like a parasite because of what I said about the Wheel of Time fandom, look, guys, just about all those things that I listed in that video, I'm a fan of myself. I've been on both sides of it, so I get it, and it never meant to be like a disparaging of any fandom or anything like that. A big thing with that one was that saying that I built my channel off of the backs of Wheel of Time fans, and now I slander them. That's not it at all, guys. Again, I know that these fandoms are very passionately aggressive. This is stuff that they've grown up with. They love it. I understand why you're that passionate about it. I even say in that video, guys, I'm one of those with Star Wars. I'm not above it. I can take a step back and be like, yeah, I was way too aggressive. I'm way more chill now than I used to be. But I've been on that side of it. It was never meant to be like slander. But I thought it was a fun conversation. A lot of the conversation has, been positive in the comments, as are all videos on this channel. Most of the conversation is positive. It's always funny to me when, you make a video about most aggressive fandoms, and then in the comments, there's a bunch of people screaming at me about why their fandom isn't aggressive. It's just a, case point, right? And then, of course, the Reaper's Gale review. Finally did get that one up. And here's the thing with that, guys, is I know that a lot of people haven't read that far in the series, so they're probably not watching those videos anyway. I know some people said, I watch everything on your channel except the Malazan stuff. Here's what I wanted to do. After I realized on like hour 3 last night of editing that video, I said, why am I spending this much time on a video I know not that many people are going to watch? It's because I said I went down to one Malazan video per book now. So I want to make sure that I'm giving it some special attention. That's why I busted this bad boy out and had that crazy introduction to it, because I thought it was a lot of fun. I always looked at that as like you were getting up to a main event. So I was trying to be the hype man for that main event, the fight that's going to take place in that book. And with me growing up in the 80s when Mike Tyson was blowing up, I was real big, obviously, into the boxing thing back then. And I said when I was a young kid, the coolest thing was I wanted to be a ring announcer one day. I thought that was what I was going to do, was be a ring announcer. So it kind of let me, live out that little fantasy there at the beginning of that video. So if you're not into Malazan, hey, maybe you'll still check out the first, 10 minutes of that video and see what I do with the reading introduction. And of course, my hype man speech, because I had a lot of fun with it. Most of the feedback has been very, very positive about it. So yeah, a lot of fun this week. So I'm going to continue to kind of, like I said, since I'm only doing one video per book for Malazan now, I want to make sure I make it special for those people who actually are interested in the Malazan content on the channel. Let's talk about some next week plans, guys. Got a cool couple things coming up here. I'm going to be doing my Talk About Nothing sometime this weekend. That's going to be me and Mark from Slowly Read, one of the best grimdark channels out there. He's one of my personal favorites. He's the one who really is, I would say blame, but don't want to get credit for me giving Jay Kristoff a try. And now I really am enjoying Jay Kristoff. So I would never try some of these things if it weren't for Mark. I mean, the fact that he's got me feeling like I'm just completely missing out because I didn't choose to read Prince of Nothing this year. Things like that. The guy, he's very, very good at talking about the grimdark stuff that I love, and he always puts it in a way that I feel like I'm going to understand, because I think Philip coined the phrase my grimdark guru. That is perfect for Mark, and I can't wait to see where that conversation takes us and how long we can do that. I hope we just talk about tattoos for now, or that'd be neat, because I don't have any, but I've always been fascinated with them. What else? I'm going to be doing a review this week. I'm going to be talking about the Godblind trilogy by Miss Anna Stevens. I read it all in December, and I want to talk about it in a review for the whole series, because there's a lot of questions about it. A lot of people were like, I didn't hear you talk very much about that. And I'm like, I thought I talked about it plenty. You just have to watch the weekly updates, guys. I enjoyed the series very, very much, and I'm going to talk about why. I'm going to talk about why I don't think it falls under the grimdark umbrella, but that it is very, very bleak, and it is very, very dour. So that's where we start getting that fine line of what's grimdark and what isn't. I don't know if anybody actually knows, except Mark. Mark probably knows. But yeah, it's going to be a good time, I think, to talk about that and why I think that you guys should pick it up if you haven't, if you're interested in learning a little bit more about it. And then I was out of ideas, but I am going down to like one review per week right now. So I started thinking about, I was like, I don't want to do another, why you should read this early. So I said, what have I not done in a bit? How about a top 10? I haven't done one of those since I did a top 10 for my top Star Wars books. God, what was that, back in like November? So I said, hey, we can do a top 10. If I've done one more recently than that, I'm sorry, I just can't think of it at the moment. And I don't count end of the year stuff. End of the year stuff is its own animal. So I thought the best way to wrap up all this Wheel of Time coverage we've had in the last few months due to the series is I figure it's past time for me to do my top 10 Wheel of Time characters. This was something that I said I was going to do when I finished reading the series. I never did do it. But I think now is a great time to talk about, because look, to say one thing about the show, guys, love it or hate it or just kind of indifferent on it, the one thing that it did remind me is how much I love the Wheel of Time. So it's just really just kind of reawakened that love to talk about Wheel of Time on the channel and talk about 10 of my favorite characters in a series that's got, well, a lot more than 10 characters, right? So I think that will be a fun time. If I got anything else, guys, I'll just kind of throw it in the middle of the week and see what happens. Right now, I'm trying to keep it to, 3 videos, plus the weekly update each week to, keep things fresh on the channel. And guys, that's pretty much all I have this week for book stuff. How about a little TV and movie talk, guys? We watched the first episode of Peacemaker with John Cena, and holy hell, is that funny. I had no idea it was going to be that R-rated. Now look, guys, I am a huge James Gunn fan. I think James Gunn is brilliant, okay? I think his humor, it either works for you or it does not. And it works for me quite a bit. And it's just so wild to me to think John Cena, that guy who was basically like Hulkamania 2.0, say your prayer, eat your vitamins, hustle, loyalty, respect, all that stuff. Just like the role model for 6-year-old kids. And he's on this show and he is crass, he is cussing, it is violent. It is insane how R-rated. It's like the Deadpool of DC right now. I really think that it is. Not to the point where, I don't mean it's like similar to Deadpool, I just mean like it's very adult. Very, very adult, very R-rated, and the language is just unreasonable, and I love it. It's terrific. I got to give credit to John Cena. I didn't think he had that kind of comedic timing in him, but he's very, very good. He's very good, and I'm happy for his success. I think it's awesome that he's finally found something, off of outside the ring that is working for him. He's had bit roles where I've been like, I can't remember that movie he did with Amy Schumer where I thought he was really funny in that, but he was just a cameo. I'm happy for that guy because that's a really funny series. I'm going to keep going with, I think, and James Gunn, like I said, anything he does, I'm going to give it a try, and the humor is almost always going to land for me. And of course, the soundtrack is going to be great. That's what you count on from James Gunn, is an awesome soundtrack, and it is. Let's talk about this last Duel movie, the Ridley Scott movie that just completely bombed at the movie theaters. Nobody could figure out why. I think I know why. I never remember seeing a preview for it at all. First I actually heard about it was him saying, why did this movie bomb? Here's the thing is, I think it was marketed poorly in the same way that James Bond, the new James Bond, was marketed poorly, in that the media got a hold of it and said, it's this, and it wasn't that. James Bond suffered from the same thing, at least here in the States, just poor marketing or no marketing at all. But a lot of the things you heard about it was kind of advertised as the Me Too for the medieval era. I don't think that's what this is at all. Look, guys, it's Ridley Scott doing a period piece. He's 3 for 3 with me now. The Kingdom of Heaven, this, and of course Gladiator. Now, it's not up there with Gladiator. Gladiator, I think, is one of the finest films of the century. So that obviously that's not going to be it. But look, if you want Ridley Scott and you want swords and sandals, this is this movie for you. And the fight in this movie is damn good. It's really damn good. So realistic, so visceral, and it's one of those things where like you don't have this crazy fancy choreography. It's just like, this is what it was going to be like if 2 guys wearing 100 pounds of armor are trying to fight to their death. It's really good. It's really, really good. And I never thought that, basically almost a courtroom drama would be as interesting in a medieval setting as this is. But I love the way that it's told from 3 different points of view. You get Jean's point of view, you get Jacques' point of view, and then, of course, I can't remember the girl's name, the lady's name that's in question. You get her point of view, and you get to see how the same situation happened between all 3 of them and how different they really are. And it's very well done, guys. It's very, very good. I think it's really worth your time. It's on HBO Max, so it isn't going to cost you nothing but your time if you got HBO Max. I recommend watching it. A good way to do it if you don't want to sit down and watch a 3-hour movie, because yes, it's long, is to just watch one of those parts each time. Watch the first part, part 1, part 2, part 3. It has a title card for each one about whose character is about to tell their side of the story. So there you go, guys. I thought it was a really good time. And underrated movie. I think it was very, very good. And again, it just shows that Adam Driver was completely wasted in the Star Wars sequel trilogy. Because that guy can act. He's a very good actor. And I figure we'll be seeing more of him as time goes by. Got to talk about The Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power. This is the official name for the Amazon streaming series. Now, look, it was just a teaser. It was just them pouring, metal into a piece of wood, and with it, it's just a teaser. What a teaser is, And look, I still have my apprehensions about this, obviously, especially after Wheel of Time. I'm definitely going to keep my guard up. One thing I will say about this, though, is that you're seeing Jeff Bezos' face around production. Like there's the thing that they made in the teaser trailer. You see him like in a picture where he's like leaning over it, and he tweeted about it and said, he can't wait for us to see it. This is the most expensive television show ever made. So if they're going to spend that much time with practical effects, which could have been done on a computer screen very easily, to me that says they're actually trying to put some thought and some work into it. I just hope that they're spending this money wisely. So look, all those red flags are still there. I'm definitely on, hope for the best, expect the worst kind of thing. I think that's the best. That's the rule of thumb when it comes to adaptation at all. So we'll kind of see where it goes from there. But it's cool that we're finally getting like something about it. It's got a release date, September the 2nd. I hope they don't wait like Wheel of Time and release the first trailer a month before the series comes out. I hope they give us a taste of this. Maybe, do they do Comic-Con anymore? Are they doing Comic-Con anymore? I don't know. Something like that. Hopefully they'll show us something about it. Even if it's just like a behind-the-scenes stuff, give us an idea of what this is going to look like. And I think it'll get a lot of ringers like myself a little more invested, because right now we're like, we're almost like dreading it. We're almost like, God, are they really going to do this? So I don't know. It's something I feel like we should be excited about, and I feel like we're actually kind of dreading it. So who knows? Who knows? Maybe it'll turn out great, and we'll be like, hey, this is what we've been waiting for. I don't know. We shall see. But again, not much you can talk about off of a 30-second teaser, So especially with, not seeing anything in world, just seeing a title screen, basically. There is one gaming thing, guys, that I got to talk about before I go. And 2 years ago, I think about 2 years ago, really before this channel took off, when I was still doing the Geek Media Core podcast, and me and my friend Kyle were live streaming E3. And we're talking about what does Microsoft need to do to get back in the game, because they were getting whipped by Sony last generation. What do they need to do to get back into it? And both of us said two things. Game Pass sounds amazing. Game Pass sounds too good to be true. So we think that Game Pass is going to crush, but then we said what we think Microsoft will do, because they're struggling to find some first-party titles outside of Halo, outside like Gears of War, or Forza. I was like, okay, so what else besides that? Their first party was really struggling, so I said they're going to open up Bill Gates' checkbook, and they're going to publish some they're going to purchase some studios. Even I never saw this coming. First they bought Bethesda, okay? Now they've bought Activision and Blizzard. I mean, guys, this is humongous. I mean, it made $70 billion, and this makes me look back and be like, $70 billion? You only paid $7 billion for Bethesda. They stole Bethesda, man. They straight stole Bethesda. But this is it, guys. I mean, I'm hearing people complain about a monopoly and stuff like that. And look, I know that there are the people who feel like they gotta be fanboys of one. I don't do that. I don't do the brand loyalty thing. I'm a consumer. I want all of the good stuff. Give me all the good stuff. I don't care about that. But I'm already seeing people be like, oh, this should be a monopoly and things like that. And the people that are complaining about this are the same people that were fine when Disney was doing it. When Disney bought Fox, they were fine with it because they were going to get to have the X-Men and the MCU now, So with this, it's like, again, guys, I mean, this is just business. This is how it works. So Microsoft's got the money. They can take risks like this. They can spend this much money with a return on investment plan. And they're obviously very smart. They know what they're doing. And I think Phil Spencer is just a genius. I think he is a mad scientist, and he's completely turned around what was a sinking ship last generation, even though you still can't buy the goddamn consoles, But again, if that's something you want to do, go for it. With me, I'm fine with my Xbox One. I'm fine with my PC because you know why? I've got Game Pass. So kids can play on the console. I can play on my computer. Everybody's happy. So Game Pass is just going to continue to crush it. And then, of course, now this. There's this big thing they flash with everything that's coming to Xbox now after this purchase. And it's just unreal, the lineup that they're going to have on here. This is a big damn deal, guys. I think this is going to change the industry. Everyone's going to try to get some kind of version of Game Pass. People say, I don't know if Nintendo would do it because they rake off of their first party titles. Look, Nintendo's always kind of been their own beast, but I think Sony's going to have to think about doing this. They're going to have to get some kind of Game Pass, something like that, because it's starting to feel with Sony like it did, with the after the PS2, where they completely were dominating. They really crushed the Xbox that generation. And then the next generation, they were just like resting on their laurels, or like we're king of the mountain, and the PS3 kind of underperformed, and then the Xbox 360 completely stole its lunch money. So I think that you don't stay king for long in the console wars, and you got to adapt or perish. And I think that Microsoft is paying attention, and I think Sony is doing again what they did in that PS3 generation, and they're just thinking, oh, we're going to get by on name brand alone. So who knows, guys? We will see. But right now, the best value in gaming is Game Pass, and now you're going to have Activision and Blizzard stuff coming on day one to Xbox Game Pass. Guys, this is unbeatable. Unbeatable. $10, $15 a month. This is better than Netflix, guys. This is amazing. So that's some big damn news. I have no idea. Microsoft's probably bought this channel, but just in the time that you've been watching this. You know what? They can afford to do that, right? So, guys, that was my week. What was your week like? Was it as good as Microsoft's? Drop in the comments. Let me know what you're watching, what you're reading, what you're listening to, what you are playing, and I will talk to you there. Have an awesome weekend.